minutes of January 9th, and I just passed those out. That's why we're a little late, so everybody can read those.
My error.
Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes of January 9th?
Don't feel bad.
Any additions or corrections?
Is that title
Tell us.
significant slot?
Where?
The second paragraph in the bottom, where it says due to significant, it should be slow.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Is there any other additions? Hearing none, I'm entertaining a motion to approve the minutes as corrected.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We have, back in January, we do not have a quorum for the November 14th minutes, and the board was not aware of that tonight, so we will get those printed and back out to you again, so we can put that on the agenda for next month. Okay? Is that okay with you all? Okay. And I'm sorry, I just caught that just about 10 minutes ago. That wasn't done. Okay, moving on. Public participation. Anyone here that would like to speak other than what's on the agenda? Seeing none, moving into old business. Any old business? I have it on my agenda. Okay, moving into new business. Before I get there, tonight, I'll introduce, I probably most everybody knows, but Paul Beckwith is here. He's been hired as the new city buildings inspector and code enforcement. And Paul's got the duties of planning and zoning for a little while. So I think honestly that will be moving on to the community development director as that person's hired. So there's a lot of changes going on in City Hall and city staff. So anyway, kind of bear with us till we make this all work. And it's working well. If I back up to old business, you have on your agenda, it says annexation of city-owned land. As you all know, that went through planning and zoning and was passed on to city council as a recommendation to annex the land in Caldwell County that the city purchased for industrial park. That moved to city council, and there was actually 2 public hearings held on that. One was to notify those individuals in that area that it was happening, and the second one was to allow everyone to know that city utilities could be brought to that area in a timely fashion, and the other part was just asking any of those residents in that area if they wanted to annex at the same time. So what's happened last Monday night, it went to city council in ordinance form for the annexation of the continuance of the process. It passed 3-2 vote that night, and I think there's 2 more readings on that, so it'll be another month. So anyway, that's where we're at on that. So, new business, we have a conditional use, and this is a public hearing, so I need to take a motion to go into public hearing for conditional use permit.
Make a motion to go into public hearing? Second.
Motion is second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. We're now in public hearing for conditional use permit at 1117 Bryan Road. And Paul, do you want to take us through this?
Okay, I'll start things off. packet, of course, kind of gave you a brief background. On February 6th, Mr. David Roth of Kansas City did submit to the City of Cameron Planning and Zoning Board for a conditional use permit for the property located at 1117 Bryan Road. We have followed all the procedures. Letters have been sent out to the adjacent landowners, David Quatter of Walpole, Missouri, and Northwest Land Holdings of Maryville, Missouri, along with sign being placed at Mr. Ross' land there on Bryan Road. Notice was also filed in Cameron newspaper. The property, as you can see from the diagrams up here, is about 106 feet wide, with depth about 930 feet, approximately 2¼ acres. The land adjacent to the old North Country Ford property located there on Bryan Road. Mr. Roth is looking at erecting approximately 100 by 50 building to house a retail archery business along with 2 indoor archery ranges to test equipment on. This building will be approximately 8,330 square feet, with the first level being comprised of the showroom, the sales area, and repairs. There's going to be a second level, which is basically about 490 square feet, which is the office and break room area. Plans include a total of 21 parking spaces, of which 5 are ADA compliant. The current plans are for the store to be open Monday through Saturday, 9:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. and closed on Sunday. This building is a post-frame construction. Have some pictures of elevation of constructed 27-gauge metal siding along with 27-gauge metal roof. The parking lot will be lit in front and also from the rear of the parking lot. We have a complete set of plans here provided by our architect, by Mr. Ross' architect, Mr. Dan Bowles. Mr. Dan Bowles is here with us, the architect, and Mr. David Roth, the owner of property on Bryan Road.
I might say, before we get any further into this, this is a request for conditional use permit. And the reason being is, number one, it's a retail store. So if that's all that they were wanting to do, then that's a commercial property, so they could locate in that area, in that particular space, without anything other than complying to city codes, rules, and regulations. And at their point, bring a site plan. We have to approve the site plan. Okay. The reason for the conditional use permit is because they have the indoor archery range for sighting up or whatever. It's just basically for their business use. And in our code, that is not allowed, only under a conditional use permit. So that's why we're sitting here tonight looking at this. In all honesty, everybody can look at, their site plan and everything, but that site plan review will have to come as a one-step process before planning and zoning at a later date when they get ready to do that, and after council actually looks at our recommendation. So, just so everybody's aware of why we're here and what we're doing it for. I know that, just to let the board know that I know city staff has worked with the individuals quite a bit. I mean, they've actually contacted myself and had me look over some of this just to make sure that they was right. It started out as one project and kind of migrated to the same project but a little different skew on it, and got it down to what you see tonight. Basically just the building and everything housed right within the facility itself. So, does anybody have any questions of Paul? And I'll ask if anybody will business have anything that they would like to say, or? And just to clarify that I am correct about that, correct, that it's just a retail store with the inside range just used for your particular business of
Yes.
of siding or
Yeah.
that type of thing.
Yeah, make sure everything's shooting where they're aiming before we send them home with it.
And it's not anything for a club or
Yeah, leagues,
tournaments
competitions,
or
no.
anything like that. So it would be just to kind of take it in, put it in a little context, it'd kind of be like a Bass Pro Shop or Cabela's where they actually have their ranges, their shooting range or their archery range to sight in.
Mhm.
The same thing, okay.
Yes, sir.
Any, would have any other? And just so you all, I think we're all clear on this, but I mean, we're looking at the conditional use permit only and make a recommendation to council. Once council makes that decision by ordinance, then the site plan basically will come back before planning and zoning with just a one-step process. I'm correct about that. It's a one-step process. It doesn't have to go to city council. It'd just be on our agenda. It doesn't have to be notified of or anything like that. It'd just be on our agenda. We look at it, at a regular meeting and approve that. Because that's not what we're doing tonight. We aren't approving the site plan. And we can't do that tonight because we're approving a conditional use permit. Okay, until after it's all ready to go. Am I correct? Guys? Am I okay? All right, okay. Any other questions? I mean, I think it's a good thing. I think it'll work well. They've done it. I like the way you proposed it to us. It's very detailed. And they aren't asking for anything out of the ordinary other than a retail business. Like I said, it's just because of the range is all. Okay. And if you have no other questions or comments, I'm going to take a motion to.
Well, let me just-
Hold
The only question I had was, on the application, it says indoor and outdoor.
That has been modified since
Into,
originally.
put into this ordinance form, was taken off the ordinance form, but
Yeah, that it's gonna be just indoor, no outdoor range whatsoever.
okay, that was my question I had.
Yeah, maybe we ought to do that before we close the public hearing, so we can just all comment on this. Move on to the ordinance, because I asked, the board always wants to see the ordinance before it goes to city council, just to make sure what we say is what gets to council. So if you have any questions about the ordinance that's been prepared, let's go ahead and discuss it now in the public hearing, and then we'll.
The only question I've got is, in the topic, it talks about the city of Cameron being Clinton, Caldwell, and DeKalb, and then in the second paragraph, I think it is, where it talks about, just DeKalb and Davies, or DeKalb and Clinton. I'm trying to figure out.
That will be changed since we did
Yeah,
add Caldwell County.
it's got to either be one or the other of the two.
Right.
Yeah,
Right, that's an error on my part. As
yeah,
we changed that to love, we did not change it down
okay.
to love.
Can I make one correction? I was introduced as the architect, I'm actually the civil engineer. So we did the construction documents for the site development.
Thank you.
And Stan, right, did you see that first statement on the ordinance that says, indoor archery range and retail sales?
Yes. That's what I just noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the,
The petition itself actually said both, and in one place it says, in the future.
Yeah, it had actually, and that was, as we was working through this, I mean, they had actually looked at doing an outdoor, but then decided afterwards just to Yeah, I suppose, yeah, you just have to, if it goes to council, yeah, this will go to council before the annexation of that property, so the call account would have to be removed in the ordinance. I think I'm right about that. Anything else that you see on the ordinance that? I think it, near as I can tell, everything looks fine. Anyone else? Anyone else?
I guess the only other question I've got of the petitioners, you guys know that if it's passed, but it's not transferable, like if you guys can sell property or something like that, you know, just so that you know that. Sometimes people, something like this happens and then they forget later on. We've had cases where somebody's had like a dog grooming business in one place on conditional use. They've left, somebody else went in and said, well, that was a dog grooming, you know, before. Well, it wasn't, but you're gonna have to reapply.
Okay. Any other questions on the entertained motion to leave public hearing?
I'll make a motion to leave public hearing. I'll second.
Motion is second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. We're now in the public hearing. I entertain a motion for the board to make a recommendation to city council.
Make a motion that, we make a recommendation to city council for approval.
I'll second.
Motion is second, any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried unanimously. Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And it'll go to council next Monday night, Paul, are you planning on that? Next Monday night, city council?
Yes.
Okay, and just make sure we get that.
I'll get
Yeah. Other than that, for the first time, that's pretty good. Okay. Very well, very well.
By the way, welcome Cameron.
Thank you.
Any other, thank you.
Thanks, have a good evening.
Oh, Gladstone firefighter, we had that happen.
Is there any other new business? Miscellaneous, I got a couple, three things. Let's see. First, kind of an update on I-35, 36 Water Griffin, if you don't know. On the 2nd and 3rd of February, February meeting, Mark and Ken Osborne, Terry Rummery, Mark Gaw, and myself, basically, we was at Great Northwest Day in Jefferson City. And those particular Tuesday and Wednesday, we set up meetings with our two state representatives and our 2 state senators from our area, and spoke to them about improvements at that intersection. We took our big poster that we have to Great Northwest Day for our booth, but I put together just a 6-page overview of where we started back 3 years ago and where we're at today, and left 2 copies of those with each office so they would be able to review that. Explaining what's going on there, what the need is, and trying to get some financing to be able to support that. Through the Great Northwest Day that evening, through the event, I had actually several interested representatives and/or senators that stopped by. I explained to them what that poster was, what it meant, and again, said that the right-of-ways that they would need to make those improvements, the state already has the right-of-way. So to be able to have to go out and purchase more right-of-way or acquire more right-of-way, he said the only place that they might have to would be on one of the exit ramps up off of I-35, but he didn't really know that they'd have to do that because of the ability to, they're going to widen out and double stack the traffic on there and the ability to move traffic through that diversion kind of interchange. They might not have to do that. But bottom line is, we all know, I asked him how far the engineering was. The engineering had been done far enough to know, to be able to put an approximate price for the project. As he told us, you know, they gave us some numbers on that. But as far as being 100% done on engineering, no, it isn't. But it has a really good start. Because what I'm looking at is, what if, you know, either the federal government or the state government comes down with some financing, you know, are we ready? Okay. And we're pretty well along. That going along with MOCAN, and it was the TAC committee, has that project on the top priority for our area for those improvements. And that's been on there for quite some time, but you know me, I'm on it, I just continue to push it. Every place I go, I push that. Our next step, that I'm, Terry Runner is helping with this, we're making arrangements to be able to go to Sam Graves' office. Sam Graves is the head of transportation, or transportation committee, in the federal, on the federal level. So we're going to be making a trip there, taking our plan, talking, you know, trying to get, hopefully, if there was some money come down the line, to be able to do that. If we can get there, then the next step is even, you know, hopefully to go further and get into the, maybe the transportation chairman committee and try to make some motion or an motion or whatever, just to try to get some activity going to try to spawn something out there. So we're working pretty hard to make it happen, and I know Drew sits on the TAC committee, and that project is, you know, like I said, is on top of the radar there. So that's kind of where we're at there. Other than one other facet that's came about, I was contacted back, it's been about 3 weeks ago, by Bill Chung. Bill has since spoken to all the property owners in that area, with the exception of the Flying J portion right around the corner. He's talked to Midwest Diesel, the Auto, the Guest House Motel, Motel 6, Jones Travel Mart, individuals there. Of course, the Jones own practically everything on the south side, including the hotel and their travel mart and all that. It's what, except McDonald's. McDonald's is not owned, it has been sold. Mr. Havinger does not own that anymore. He sold, from what I understand, his McDonald's in Cameron, in Chillicothe, and St. Joe, and it's under new ownership from an owner of McDonald's out of the Liberty Carney area. And that's what they was kind of waiting on till the new owner came in, and he's on board with this too, looking at the transportation district. Okay, they want to talk more. So I've been working with Mark, and we've been, Bill has some other projects going on that he's already talked to Mark about in that same area. But as I talked to Bill, I went out, sat down with him for an hour or better one day, and we talked about his project that he might want to do and what he's doing today, all that, those improvements that he's making, and where he, and we talked about the transportation district and what we can hiring a development director, community development director. Mark was kind of wanting to wait to that person possibly might go on board. But I emailed Bill today, and I want to do this in April, maybe somewhere like the second week of April or something like that, to try to get these individuals, all these businesses together again. And as we talked, it's not something that the city can do. It's a district that those business and landowners impose upon themselves. They figure it out, and, you know, they assess the money. However, it can be property tax or sales tax, which most likely will be sales tax. And there's a board, it's a governmental board basically, but they have to do it on themselves. The city has just said, we can move you to the proper people that you need to engage. And so that's the second meeting. When I talked to Bill, that's what I told him we could do. We can help him, we can move him to the right people. We just aren't gonna, you know, carry the weight.
You can lead a horse in water, you just can't make it drink.
So and after that, you know, I told him I'd work with him, you know, at least one more meeting and see where that went, and then kind of let it move off on its own. And they'll have to hire somebody to actually set that up and make it happen if they want to go ahead and pursue it. So I have to get with Mark and see when he might want to do it, but I'm looking at next month, maybe the second or third week of April. And the city attorney, their firm, as you all know, he said here that night, they specialize in things like this, so they know who to go to. Terry Rummery and Rummery and Associates, actually, Terry is versed in this kind of stuff also, and he has offered his assistance to help him also. So it's up to them what they want to do. But now they want to see something happen. And I'm going to be right up honest with you. You know, we talked for quite a little while, and you know, is this the right thing to do? And I frankly, you know, I told Bill, I said, do I think it's right? No, because I think the state, NODOT, should have to pay for all that. But looking at it from a business standpoint, and they're only looking at the intersection. That's all. Bobette Griffin and 36. That's all they really want to pursue is just the intersection. I don't think they, basically taxpayers should have to pay that money that way. But they're looking at it, if we can get it improved, it'll increase our business. It'll be worth it to do that over a period of time, because they don't feel like that's going to happen very quickly. And I wish it would. I just wish it would, but.
And the elected officials they don't say that we don't need it, it's just how do you pay for it?
Yeah.
And so we're gonna have to come up with a culmination of things, just like what the Department of Transportation is doing now to just keep up our roads. You know, whether it's toll, gas tax or whatever, they're gonna have to come up with different ways to do the roads. We're gonna have to do the same way with the intersection.
And, for being in Jeff City, everyone we talked to, last year, that bill for increasing tax on fuel, it moved out of the Senate to the House, and the House killed it. So now, no one wants to touch it this year. The Senate thinks it's important, but they don't want to touch it because they think that the House should start it. So they're pushing each other away, and nothing's really happening right now. Whether it will later on into the session, who knows? Who knows what they might do or might not do? I don't know. Nobody knows. But that's where we're at. That's where we've been. We've covered quite a bit of ground. Still, we haven't turned any dirt. But we tried a lot. And it just continues to grow out there. So, anyway, any questions? That's all the comment I have on that today. But I'll inform P and Z, need to look in and see when our terms are up. I don't keep track of that, so I don't know whether some of the board members' terms are ready to renew or not, but we need to get a handle on that. And I do know that the planning and zoning is one board member short, and I know that Board of Adjustments is one board member short. And honestly, I want to fill ours. I don't, I'm speaking, you guys speak over me, I don't want to do a temp. I want somebody to fill the seat. I don't want to do a temp. A temp, number one, it's hard on them because they don't get to play, okay, especially here. And on Board of Adjustments, because they never meet. So I want to fill the seat. The other thing, on the other side of it, is the applicants. I don't feel like maybe with a temp, they really get the, they don't get the knowledge. Just having somebody come in every once in a while and fill, because they aren't keeping up on what's going on. We normally always have enough for a quorum. It's not as bad here. Board of Adjustments has to have 4 to be able to conduct business. So if there's one short there, we can't conduct business, so we need to do whatever we can. And it's tough because we've advertised, we went out and begged, and nobody wants to do it. But anyway, Paul, and I know whoever, if there's somebody else hired, we need to get on that. But see what Mark wants to do, see if he wants to advertise for either or.
I'll meet with him tomorrow.
Okay. I think that's, you have anything, Paul?
I can tell you this, the hospital project is well underway. They poured a section of footings this last week, and we'll be doing a demo on the south door. They have an access ramp off to the side for people entering in. They'll demo off that south door so they can go in, pour their eastern footers, and come back across to the south and start putting everything together. So our hopes were maybe latter part of this week to do another pour on the foundation. So we're moving along. Doing a very good job. A lot of things happening within town with the local contractors, a lot of housing projects underway, several remodels and roofs, fences, different things like this. The weather has really spurred a lot of activity since I've started here 1st of February. So a lot of building permits going out. A lot of good things happening.
Drew, do you have anything?
Board member terms for 4 years for you guys in planning and zoning.
4 years.
I think it's Tom and George who expired this year.
Did I expire last year?
No,
You're not expired, you still got shelf life left.
we dehydrated